I'm Christy. Today I want to talk about looking at what special needs look like. Over the past year or two, I've found myself making a distinction in my mind between different types of disability. In looking over past content, I realized I haven't fully addressed these differences. So I figure it's about time to really take a look at the different types of disabilities, what they look like, and how they impact life. When I looked back at past content, I was reminded that I had addressed this topic briefly in the Life with Special Needs series. In that series, I spent 2 weeks briefly looking at 4 different categories of special needs. I've got links to those posts over on the blog. You can find that at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in January of 2023. In those 2 posts, I broke down special needs into 4 broad categories: physical, mental, social, and behavioral. I like those breakdowns. They're pretty general, and yet they show the differences between them. This time, though, I want to look into each one in more detail and add one more: emotional. Taking the time to better understand each of these categories will help us better understand how to interact with our loved ones with special needs, as well as any other individuals we may encounter throughout our lives. After understanding what each category is and how it impacts life, I want to take a brief look at how we can work with individuals who are challenged by each of these categories. I'm a firm believer that head knowledge without practical application is pretty much a waste of time. If we can't apply something we learn to our lives, it won't have an impact on us or anyone we come into contact with. It's definitely an area that we need to be willing to grow and change so that we can help the needs so we can help meet the needs of individuals with special needs whenever we come into contact with them. As I mentioned at the beginning, I keep coming back to this topic because the kind of disability should impact how we interact with different individuals. Just as we adjust how we interact with our typical friends and individuals we come in contact with, so we need to know how to best adjust our interactions with individuals with special needs based on their understanding and triggers. Since no 2 people are the same, we need to expand our knowledge base and skill set to best work with as many people as possible whenever we come into contact with them. For example, I have a friend who has autism. She's high functioning and is succeeding in college away from home. But it wasn't always that way. I met her shortly after she turned 4. She was joining a program I was directing at the time. She tried to escape 2 or 3 times from the classroom in the hour and a half that we were in the meeting. Needless to say, she's come a long way, and I am so proud of her. And yet, she still struggles socially. Over the years, I've learned different ways to help her succeed in several different settings by understanding what her triggers are and how she functions within various settings. At the same time, I've had Sean in some of those same settings. They're the same grade and we're friends. And I've interacted with him differently because he doesn't have the same triggers or concerns that our friend does. I've even asked Sean to look out and include our friend at times when I know that they'll be in the same place, knowing that our friend may struggle a little bit. As we dive into this series, I hope that you'll learn a few things and hopefully learn new ways to interact and work with individuals with special needs more effectively. Everyone wins when there are positive interactions between different types of individuals. Our loved ones with special needs are no different. We can learn a lot from them as well. Watching them face challenges, their joy in simple things, and their generally positive outlook on life can challenge us in the choices we make when we're in similar situations. We don't often face things as positively or as joyfully as our loved ones with special needs do. This is one of the many lessons we can learn from them if we're open and willing to learn from them while working with them to overcome their challenges as well. Learning from each other. Such a beautiful way to live. An amazing way to learn lessons and be blessed at the same time. May we find ourselves in these kinds of situations more frequently as we better learn how to interact with different types of disabilities. So my question for you this week is this: what type of disability does your loved one with special needs have? What about others that you come in contact with regularly? I'd love to hear about your life. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in January of 2023. If you prefer, you can always email me at Christy, CHRISTY, at havenofhopeforme.com. I'm considering AJ, his friends, and their challenges to better interact with them so that I can continue to say that life is good and there is never a dull moment.